Grab your deep cleaning to-do list. I definitely have some deep cleaning motivation as I tackle my dining room. And then I also have a very special conversation brought on by a question I received from one of you in the comment section. So she's just struggling that her prayers seem unheard and her belief has weakened. So what I was sharing with her, I do not have the perfect answer to this, okay? This is what I'll say at the very beginning is, hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen. So it has been a busy morning already. I had a phone meeting at 7 a.m. with my mentor, which happens to be my sister, my business mentor. So that was kind of fun. Well, it wasn't kind of fun. It really was fun. And today's goal is to really get finished deep cleaning. Oh my goodness, I started a summer deep clean series. What was it, June, July? I don't know. I didn't get very far, so if I could get the dining room done, I would be so very happy. But I told one of my daughters I would take her out to the city, which is 45 minutes to an hour away. She's having something special done with her hair. So that entails leaving at 9 a.m., which I'm in the car, and we're going to head out here in just a minute. And then hopefully, I don't know how long, it's supposed to take a couple of hours. But hopefully once we get back, I'll be able to get deep cleaning. Wah, wah, wah. So here I am back again, and they weren't able to do what she wanted with her hair, which is unfortunate since you drive almost an hour to get there. So she's going to go back in a couple of months when her hair has grown a little bit. I don't want to say too much because, you know, teenagers, they don't necessarily want you to share their infos. So I won't do that. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to get myself lunch, and I'm going to get cleaning and get windows washed, curtains washed, all the good things. We're home and I'm surveying the dirt on my windows and how much I really need to get them clean. And also my curtains are very dirty because they kind of drag on the floor a little bit. So I want to get those washed as well. And also the sideboard is showing a lot of dirt. We put school supplies in there, so there's pencil marks from when people are putting pencils in. I have my supervisor all ready, well, or so I thought. And then he just decided. He's a circus cat. Well, maybe he decided that he would help me out by doing some dusting with his body. But here is that sideboard and all of its nastiness. So I just hadn't shown you enough. I had to show you even more so you know why I need to get to this. So first off, I'm going to get to the windows and I'm going to take these curtains down. These are, I think they're called, are they hideaway? I don't remember what the name of these curtain rods is, but as you see, it curves into the wall instead of having an end. And I did that because the curtain closest to you, I didn't have enough space for a typical curtain rod. So I got these. I'll have them linked. They're in my Amazon store if you're interested in them yourself. So I'm getting things vacuumed up here and then I'll start wiping, but I do like to get the general dirt out of there first. I'm using my Mrs. Meyer's all-purpose cleaner. I always love the floral scents. I think this one is rose. It just smells so good and it really motivates me to get cleaning. Check out the windowsill here. It is all scratched up and I'm going to explain in just a second how that exactly happened. Yeah, this is why we don't get to clean things. I had to be a little salty about Leo first. Anyway, the people that owned this house before us had a pretty large dog who didn't like being inside. So there is multiple damage on all the windowsill as well as the interior doors. Some of them where the dog would be kept in a room not wanting to stay there or apparently kept inside wanting to get outside. I'm going to paint them and I'm going to try doing, I don't know, maybe some wood fill to see if that would work if I did some wood fill or sanded them down and then painted them and just see. I've been wanting to paint out my trim work, but it is a huge job, but I'm thinking this might be the year to paint it out white. But you can see why I have these curtain rods here. See how close the other wall is to where the window ends. So I'm getting this all dusted and cleaned up. I'm just chatting with my daughter while I do it, which is always nice. Usually, you know, having a large family means somebody's always coming in to chat with you while you're getting things done. And I do really enjoy it. It definitely helps the time to pass away. And I'm getting the microwave, the air conditioner dusted. and cleaned up as well. This is a new air conditioner, so it wasn't that bad. It just needed a little bit of a dusting. Not much is happening here until I can get the air conditioner out of the window and get the windows put down. That's all on the other side. Also, do you notice how I have my hair like partially up just in the front? Well, what happened was I was doing my hair, curling it this morning, and we lost power. So as soon as we lost power and I was in the middle of doing my hair, I had part of it up while I was curling the bottom, and then I usually put my makeup on, and then I bring the rest of my hair down. And that's as far as I got, and the day went on and I never did go back to it. So this was my hairstyle for today, inspired by a 2-hour power outage. I have no idea why we lost power. I did notice there was only just over 100 customers that were affected. So what usually happens is someone hits a telephone pole with their car and knocks out, or maybe we had a transformer blow. I did notice the electrical people driving by looking at my transformer, so they must have been trying to figure out whose it was. You just never know. Look, it's a bright sunny day, not exactly the time that you think you're going to lose your power. I really appreciate having these pop-out windows. As I said in my last video, I thought getting new windows would mean I would be rid of spiders for good, but I just have smaller spiders that fit through the screen. So it's always good to get it vacuumed out, get the little spider webs out, get all the bugs out. I was using the all-purpose cleaner. We've had a lot of driving rain, so you get dirt on the windows. But it is so convenient to be able to pop these out. But no matter how hard I try, when I put them back up, I always notice that I have missed a spot. But I did my best, and they sure look a lot better than they did when I started. I'm really looking forward to decorating for fall. Every year I think, am I going to do it next year? And I had decluttered quite a bit, but I do like to change out pillows and have them to be more decorative. And then this sideboard, of course, I always love to decorate. So this has been my summer decor. I left that little green rabbit that I had from spring, and I really did enjoy it. So I'll be removing all of the lemon stuff very soon. I'll be finishing up this candle and letting it burn, and then I will be replacing it with some fall decor. I found some really cute things at Dollar General. So if you haven't been to Dollar General, go check it out. You might be surprised, inexpensive and super cute. So I know that there's others of you that are not in the United States that don't decorate, or those of you in the US that don't decorate, which I think is great. And I know I'll probably get there someday. Here are the drawers. I just wanted to show you what they're looking like. I will declutter them a little bit later in the video, but these mitts are these hot mats. Those are supposed to be with my other ones in the kitchen. So I do keep some things here that I put down on the table to keep the table from getting burnt from, hot pans. But the things that are pot holders, those I keep beside the oven in the kitchen for easy grabbing. But sometimes others will help me and they don't put them where I necessarily want them. Leo, he's meowing at me because I was cleaning his window. He wanted to get in there.
Is for me.
It was like when I started to clean it, he came over, got in it, so I stopped. And then I went on to other things, he left. Then I started cleaning it again, and then he came back again. Realizing I didn't do the greatest job over there either. I was happy that the all-purpose cleaner got off most of the pencil marks, most of the dirt marks, but I do come in here, I have a white erase sponge, and I'm just ever so lightly getting off anything that didn't come off with the regular all-purpose cleaner, trying not to damage any of the paint. I did get kind of bored, so I put Jamrel on because she tends to be chatty and really talk us through her day. So I feel like that's one I can put in my ears and just be listening to her chatting about whatever it is that she is doing. And it does help me. Once my daughter left the room and I didn't have anyone to talk to, I start getting a little bit bored and restless. And so it really helps me to focus, to be listening on YouTube. And I have the video close by so I can take little peeks here and there at whatever it is that she is doing. Let me tell you, I was so very tempted to put the fall things on this sideboard instead of putting summer back on here. But then I thought, no, I'm going to give it another week or so. I don't want to put it up too soon and then I'm sick of it because, that's going to stay here until the Christmas decor goes up because fall decor works for Halloween, it works for Thanksgiving, and I don't do so much with Halloween. I used to do it for the kids. I'm not a huge Halloween fan. It's fun to get dressed up. It's fun for them to get free candy. That's pretty much all it is for us. And if they beg me to decorate for Halloween, then I allow them to do that. I did use the sponge here. I can just see some dirt from when we used to have chairs up against this wall. I had some dirt there and I used the white erase on the wall. I don't like to do that because then you kind of got to do the whole wall because you end up with this spot and you have to be careful. Sometimes they can remove paint. So Leo has retired to the door now that he knows I don't want to wash that window. He doesn't need to be there. So even though I'm not doing the living room today, since when I do the living room, I want to be washing those curtains as well. And they're the same color, the exact same curtain. I thought it made sense. Oh, I just dropped the curtain rod. I thought it made sense if I just put them all in one load all together. Honestly, this is where I know I don't have a super tiny house or anything like that, but there is a certain element where I feel like it's small just because I always have to move so many things to get to what I want to get to. It's really not as bad as I tend to think of it in my head though, but that window behind the couch is super dirty. I'm not quite sure what the heck is up with that. As far as what was in between, I don't know if that's the direction of the wind, but that's going to be a bit of a chore and hopefully I'll be able to get in there behind the couch. So stay tuned. I just dropped another rod and I had Rachel come in and hand it to me, but I tried not to get her in the shot too much because she wasn't dressed for the day yet. And, whenever you're doing these deep cleans or anything and you wonder, why can't I get much done in a day? Well, that's kind of the purpose of this video. I wanted to show you the real life. So it's time to empty the dishwasher. It ran after lunch. And I want to get it empty so that we can keep putting our dishes in and it'll be emptied out for supper, because if it's not emptied out and it's full, then people are just going to be piling their dishes in the sink, which I absolutely hate. So it's worth it to me to stop my project and to get the dishwasher emptied. The kids used to do a lot more chores, but with everybody working and being older with crazy schedules, I am taking on a lot more of the daily things. This is one reason I like to do a to-do list. A to-do list is where you list out what you really want to happen and what you want to get done. So, of course, my to-do list was to deep clean the dining room. So it feels like you only have one thing to do. But you forget, you're switching laundry, you're doing dishes, you're planning meals. There's so much more that goes into a day than the thing that you might have on your to-do list. It's just so important to be giving yourself grace and even having that to-do list so that you can remember all the things that you got done that day. Of course, once I get done with the dishes, then I remember I need to get those curtains in the laundry. And so, of course, I go over to my bathroom to get into the washing machine and I realize there is a load that is in the dryer. That's got to come out. And so after the dishes, I'm headed into the bathroom to switch the laundry over, get this laundry into my bedroom, ready to be folded, which is inspiring our laundry chat at the end of this video. And then to get what is in the washing machine switched over to the dryer so that I can get my curtains started. So I bet if you're thinking you don't get much done in the day, if you started a to-do list and really wrote down everything that you do through the day, you'll realize that you're getting a lot more done than you realize. Or you might also realize that there were pockets of time that you could have put something in and you didn't. Sometimes a to-do list will help me to identify how much I'm really getting done, and sometimes it also helps me to realize that there were pockets of time where I was doing things that weren't really necessary, and I did have more energy. I could have done more, and I was choosing not to do more, and I could make a different choice. Or maybe it just needs to be a rest day, and if so, you need to go ahead and put that on your to-do list too, because taking care of yourself is definitely something that should be on a to-do. I noticed this needed to be wiped down, so I just grabbed the glass cleaner quick.
He just loves my chair. I don't know why. It's just because it's mine, but look at those. I love how cats have like rabbit feet. Oh my goodness, so cute.
So I got some done, as you saw, and the dishwasher has been dealt with, which will be important because I'm going to need to have that done when we get back. And where are we going, you might ask? Because when we get back, it'll be like supper, but thankfully my husband's making ribs, so I don't have to make supper. So I told my oldest 2 daughters I would take them to a library, so I'm glad I have some footage. I'm going to take it with me and get editing, and then hopefully I'll have some energy when I get back from that. But at the very least, I'll get those curtains washed, and then maybe the rest will happen tomorrow. We're home from the library, and I thought, perfect, I'll go switch over those curtains. So I get out the laundry basket to get what I had switched over to the dryer, and wouldn't you know, do you ever have this happen?
Of course this one's not dry.
I need to remember to ask my husband to pull out the dryer and clean out the hoses because my dryer is not being that efficient. So it is after supper now, and I put my pajamas on because I was absolutely exhausted. And now I'm going to get the curtains switched over, and I made a very grisly discovery. Okay, when I used the OxiClean, it said to fill the washing machine first and then put in the detergent, and I didn't do that. So one time when I used the cleaner that you can get for washing machines, what it ended up doing was pulling out all this dirt from, I don't know, the pipes, like the pores, the little holes from the washing machine, and bringing it into the tub, into the big basin. And so I realized right then I was never going to use one of those cleaners again, because let's keep the grime where it goes. So I was taking out the curtains, realizing the filth, because I don't know if it's because I didn't fill the washing machine first with water before I put in the Oxy. So I'm noticing these chunks of brown all over my curtains, and I was shaking them out, and then you just saw me wiping things down because it was getting literally everywhere, and I vacuumed it and I wiped it. So now I'm trying to decide what to put the washing machine on because I just want it to, I'm having a hot flash, so I had to put my hair up. I wanted it to just run an empty load with hot water, and I was really hoping that would work. Now I'm wiping down my face because of my hot flash. Oh my goodness, I was kind of upset about this. I mean, really. So it's just what you do. And this is actually the next morning, and I'm putting the clean, shaken out curtains back up. They're a little bit wrinkled, but you know what? I don't even care. I'm hoping as they hang that they will, the wrinkles will come out all by themselves. So thankfully, it's real easy to unscrew these curtain rods, get these back up. Oh my goodness gracious me, oh my. There's a little real life behind the scenes for you. So the next time I use the Oxy Wash, and I do want to use it again because I want to see what will happen, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to fill up the basin with water before I add it, but it's hard because mine uses a sensor. So before I finish my little laundry story, I did want to show you what it looks like with these curtain rods should you ever decide to get ones like this. See how I'm just unscrewing it, and there's a place in the middle where the one piece of the curtain rod goes into the other piece so that you can unscrew it, and then easily it expands again when you turn it in the opposite direction, if that makes any sense. So that's what I'm doing here. But back to my laundry. I do want to use the, okay, what I was saying was my laundry will weigh what is in there. There's a sensor to see how much is in there so it knows how much water to put in. That's why I would never pre-fill my laundry. But I just thought of another idea is I could take the Oxy Wash, I could put it in warm water and make sure it's completely dissolved. And then I could maybe put the laundry in, because you were supposed to fill it, put the wash in, then put the laundry in. Then maybe I could put the laundry in the oxy wash and start it. And maybe because it's dissolved, it won't have the same effect. If anyone has any wisdom for me in that, please let me know in the comment section. I also don't know if you noticed, but on the front of my t-shirt, I have a little bit of toothpaste. I didn't notice that. I'm telling you, I've been having the mornings lately. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting everything out of the way and getting things swept up. I am going to steam clean this floor. However, the steam cleaner is in the same room that one of my teenagers happens to be sleeping right now, because I have one of my teenagers trying out our 3-season porch that used to be my office. She might be moving in there for a bedroom. So I've got to reconfigure where some of my things are going to go, because I do think that is going to happen. And right now I cannot access my steam cleaner. So you will see that probably in the next deep clean video. I will show myself doing the dining room, but it is not going to happen right away this morning, and that is okay. I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then I'm going to go through one of the drawers of the sideboard for a quick declutter.
I always want to see if there's anything to declutter. I love these that my sister made for hot mats. She wove them herself. I've had them for years, and they are just still gorgeous. This needs to go with my seasonal decor. I was going to use it on the table, and I must have stopped using it. I don't remember. But this is what we're in here for. Oh, these are my chair socks. But this, I love it so much. I dreamed of having a white cotton tablecloth, and it had the little pretty edging and everything. But you know what? Even if I iron it, it is impossible to keep this thing from being wrinkled because it's 100% cotton. So every night when we would take it off the table to set the table for dinner, because I didn't want to have to keep washing it and ironing it, then wherever we put it, when we would fold it, it would show the fold marks. It was just constantly wrinkled. So then I stopped using it. So I am going to donate it, but it makes me so sad because I just love it. I even tried putting, you know, the plastic over it, but I didn't like that. It just didn't have the look anymore that I loved. So this one is going. It's always good. I mean, even one thing decluttered is a good thing. This drawer and this drawer, they're going to get decluttered as I, actually, this needs to come out and go with my decor as well. More placemats. But as I get us ready for school, a lot of this stuff is going to go. We're only going to need 2 calculators. You know, we're just not going to need a lot of this stuff. And so I will be decluttering this, but I'm going to go ahead and wait until I get things ready for the school year, which I haven't quite done yet.
Since the laundry, running it through, I had to run the laundry through the washing machine because I was trying to wash the curtains. So I'm going to do a little fold and chat. I had a very important message. Let me just change this a little. A very important comment came through on my last video, and it's from someone saying a request for a future video. How can a person who's always believed and needed God in their life has become doubtful? I think she's saying, how can you keep your faith? So I bet you can guess that there's been a lot of loss in her life, and she's seen people suffering, and she is suffering with cancer too. I'm trying to keep the details a little vague just because even though it's public in the comment section, I just don't want, I don't know, I don't ever want to share something that someone's uncomfortable with me sharing out to thousands of people. So she's just struggling that her prayers seem unheard and her belief has weakened. So what I was sharing with her, I do not have the perfect answer to this, okay? This is what I'll say at the very beginning, is God hasn't promised that we won't have sickness, pain, death, injustice in this life. He has promised to comfort us, to be there. We know we have a merciful high priest,
But the promise of full restoration, full healing, no more sickness, no more death, no more sorrow. That's heaven. That's our future hope. But he has promised he will never leave us nor forsake us. He has promised to be the God of all comfort. And one of the things that happens when we don't understand the intense suffering we see around us and the intense suffering that we ourselves feel is that we get angry at God. And I've been there. I'm going to share with you a story of my own situation where I felt the same way. But we cut ourselves off from God's comfort and him healing our hearts because we're shutting ourselves off from him in our anger. But the first thing I want you to know is that God understands suffering. And I had a miscarriage, my second pregnancy, okay? And when I started spotting, in fact, the video that I was showing that I was watching earlier, Jamarel on YouTube, has had a miscarriage. And I feel so badly for her. I think she has like 9 children. It's her first miscarriage. So when I started spotting, I started calling friends, and I had called my doctor, and my doctor, it just was a wait and see thing, you know? It's not like I read online all these people that said they spotted, had a full period, still had a healthy baby. So I was calling around to friends and asking them to pray. And I ended up losing that child. I didn't lose it because I know right where that child died. And by the ultrasound, even as I was already calling around people, that had already happened. So I was very angry with God. And I even was to a point of, I have to serve him, have to love him because he's bigger than me, he's stronger than me, the God that created the universe gets to make the rules, you know. It was that kind of I'm going to serve him, but it's going to be bitter, you know. I don't mean to laugh. It's a nervous laugh. Anyways, one day I read the verse that God did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all. And it just broke my heart because I realized that God had gone through the torturous death of his own child, of his son Jesus, who didn't deserve it, who was completely perfect, never made a mistake. And he understood my pain. And Jesus, who came to the earth to save us, to secure our salvation, he suffered through this world. He suffered through loss. He understood. So that was what broke my heart. And from then on, when I go through struggle, I lean into the Lord, not away. It was very hard for me when my dad got lung cancer and I knew that he was going to die. It was just a matter of time, you know, and it wasn't that I wasn't praying for miraculous healing, because I really was, but I saw everything around the situation working like clockwork, you know, him being able to see friends, and he had a house in Florida, house in Maine, him being in Maine when he needed to be in Maine, being in Florida when he needed to be in Florida. I mean, they were neatening up their important papers and life insurance when he went in the bathroom and coughed up blood and came out and said, I need to go to the hospital. So, you know, it was while they were being led to clean out their papers. I mean, everything worked like clockwork. So in this world, I hope I'm not rambling. In this world, there is intense suffering, and it's not fair. And I had to remind myself when I was so upset, I was like, my dad's so young, he's 67 years old. I had to remind myself that children die of cancer, babies die of cancer. My own baby died in my womb without ever getting to see the sunlight. So, you know, in this life, it is true, terrible things happen. And as we read the Bible, we see we're not unique, that throughout human history, very difficult situations. I cannot imagine Adam and Eve when their son Cain killed their other son Abel. That must have been so hard, and it was the first murder in human history. Oh, I know that you all could go through stories in the comment section of all of the suffering that you have experienced yourself, that you are experiencing, and that you watch others experience. And what I want to share with you is I hope and I pray you can lean into God, that you can lean into reading His Word, you can lean into prayer. Yes, of course, pray for what you want, but know that if the answer is no, or if the answer is wait, that God is the God of love and the God of all comfort, and He's there for you in your trial. You can comment below if you'd like, if you need prayer. And I pray that your faith stays strong. I want you to know that God can handle your questions. He can handle your doubts. He can handle your anger. He can handle it. He's got big old broad shoulders. Be honest with God in your prayer. He already knows how you feel. It's not like He doesn't know, but you expressing it to Him has value. Saying it out loud has value. Reach out to others who believe in Jesus, who have put their faith and their life in His hands to help you. And I promise, these dark valleys are dark, and sometimes they're very long, but they are always temporary. And I remember when my dad passed away, and I remember having the thought, cancer's dead. Cancer's dead, but he's alive. He's alive. He's with the Lord. And I'm going to see him again someday because he knows Jesus. He loved Jesus, followed Jesus in his life. I'm going to see him again for eternity. So this, however many years on earth, 60, 70, 80, 90, 120 years on earth, yes, does it have sufferings and trial? Absolutely. For all of us. Even if it looks like others have it easy, it's not true. We all have stuff. 60, 70, 80, 90, 120 years compared to eternity, 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 eternity of no suffering, no tears, no death, no injustice, no racism, no hatred, only love, only joy, only perfection, only beauty, only health, only happiness. Hang on to your faith. Hang on to Jesus with all your worth. I promise you will not regret it. Eternity with him in comparison to maybe even up to 120 years of suffering. If the only thing God ever did for you was to send his son to have a torturous death on the cross and rise from the dead so that you could be with him in heaven for eternity. If that's the only thing he ever did for you, isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? So I hope that encourages you today. If you have other questions, please put them in the comments. I do not have the perfect answers. And there are things in my life that I don't know. Maybe I'll ask God about them. Maybe I won't. I don't understand. I don't know why. What's hard, I understand, is that we know God has the power to do all things. So when he doesn't do what we want him to do, and what we want him to do seems like a good thing, it is very hard to understand. And it's okay not to understand. But I'm telling you, cling to him for all you're worth. He loves you and he wants to comfort you. So I hope this was an encouragement to you. Remember, as always, God loves you. He does. And I'm sorry for all that you've been through and what you're going through. Because I love you too. And I can't wait to see you next time.